Folks, the video game news is finally picking up in the month of July. It's been kind of a quiet month, but now we've got some cool stuff to talk about that I definitely want to cover in this video. First off, we're going to talk about a quick update to the TurboGrafx-16 Mini, including an exclusion of a region that has me kind of scratching my head. Sega is bringing back a major gaming franchise, Gamestop is making some big adjustments, and it looks like one of my most hated games of all time is returning to the Nintendo Switch. So what's going on with all this? What information should you guys know? Sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about what's going on in the world of video game news.
Hey, RGT85. Hey, Sean.
Oh my God, it's Stevie Richards! Alright, so yesterday on the channel, we of course made a video talking about the TurboGrafx-16 Mini. Initially, I was not too interested in this system, but as time has gone on, I've actually become pretty damn interested in this system. Make sure you guys go check out that video from yesterday to see why I'm now hyped for the TurboGrafx-16 Mini. Now, at the time of the filming of that video, the TurboGrafx-16 Mini was not available for pre-order in the United States yet. Of course, you have to get this through Amazon in order to get your system. But now it is up, and it is $100, which is the price point that I speculated on. So you're getting 50 games for $100 with this system, and honestly, I think that's a very good value. But what's kind of interesting about this is, it seems like the TurboGrafx-16 Mini isn't releasing officially in Canada. According to a Best Buy writer for Best Buy of Canada, it does not seem like this system will be coming natively to Canada. Now, of course, you can always import the system, but there's going to be higher tariffs for the import on this system. You're going to end up paying more than you would if it was the native currency of Canada. Now, of course, all Canadian jokes aside, well, maybe one Canada joke.
Canada sucks.
I find this very strange. Now, you already have a system that kind of has a niche market to begin with, but why not officially release it in Canada? I'm not quite sure what Konami's decision making is behind this. Obviously, the TurboGrafx-16 was not really a system seller. It was not really a success in terms of system sales, so you would think they would want to expand this to as many markets as possible. Obviously, you're getting the PC Engine Mini in Japan, you're getting the core graphics in European countries, but nothing for Canada. So Canada, you'll have to import your TurboGrafx-16 Mini, but I'm still hyped about it because I don't live in Canada, so I don't have to worry about that.
Canada sucks.
Next up, we have to talk about a forgotten Sega franchise that is actually returning, and a lot of people are excited for it. Some people are a bit miffed at the game selected from this series that will be being brought back, but I think I can sort of justify the reason behind that. Now, of course, a very popular Sega franchise is Super Monkey Ball. I remember playing Super Monkey Ball on the GameCube, and I absolutely loved the franchise. It was absolutely fantastic. A physics-based game in which you have to control a monkey inside of a ball to get to the end of the goal. Monkeys are cool, balls are cool. It didn't really sound right, but Super Monkey Ball was a really fantastic franchise, but it kind of has gone by the wayside in terms of recent games. We haven't seen a Super Monkey Ball game in forever, and I always thought that was strange. I always thought something like the 3DS was the perfect platform for a Super Monkey Ball game. Well, now Super Monkey Ball is returning. It's actually getting an HD remaster of what is considered to be one of the weaker entries in the series. Sega announced today that Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD will be coming out onto all major platforms, the Nintendo Switch, the PS4, and Xbox One on October 29th, with a Steam release coming in winter of 2019. Now, Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz originally came out on the Nintendo Wii, and like I said, this was kind of considered to be one of the weaker entry points in the franchise, but I think a lot of that stems from the fact that it utilized motion controls. You did not have a standard control scheme for Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz, so because of that, you didn't quite get the precision that you got with analog sticks. Now, of course, since this game is coming to the PS4, the Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch, more than likely, this game has to have standard controls in it, which I think is going to help this game tremendously. I think the game itself looks very good. They've updated the graphics. There's going to be online leaderboards as well, and more than likely, a bunch of different control schemes in which you can utilize to play this game. I'm really excited for this game, honestly. I think that, yes, this is considered to be one of the weaker entry points in the franchise, but considering the fact that they're updating everything for this game, I think it's going to come out very strong. And plus, it sort of shows that Sega is digging into their back catalog of games. Sega has long been saying that they're going to look at their retro franchises to try and bring them back in order to generate, more revenue and generate consumer trust in the Sega brand. And I think this is a great way to do it. I'm definitely looking forward to Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD. I think it's going to be fantastic to revisit the Super Monkey Ball franchise, and I hope this game does well so that we get more Super Monkey Ball games, maybe even a new Super Monkey Ball game. So yes, Super Monkey Ball is coming. Monkeys are cool, balls are cool. Let's get this going. Next up, we have to talk about GameStop, and I know it's fun to bash on GameStop, but honestly, I don't hate GameStop. I like being able to go into a store and look around and browse and look at video games. Of course, GameStop has been going through some major issues lately, but I like my local GameStop. All the employees are very nice, they know who I am, they take care of me very well, so I like going into a GameStop location, but it seems like GameStop is actually embracing the fact that change is coming, because in a recent article done by Engadget, they actually talked about some new prototype stores that are coming to GameStop, and these sound very exciting to me. I like the premise of these stores. So basically, GameStop has unveiled a team up with designers at r/GA on a pilot program to renovate stores and give them a place in video gaming culture. These concept stores will have layouts and purposes meant to appeal directly to gamers. You'll have new ways to try games before buying them, shops that cater solely to retro games and hardware, and even esports competition with homegrown leagues. So I like the sound of that. Obviously, when you go into a GameStop, you're only getting modern consoles, and I always thought that was really strange. I used to work at GameStop, 10 plus years ago, and when I worked at GameStop, they actually did sell retro stuff. I remember having PS1 and N64 games, but then like a couple months, because it was a brand new store, like 2 months into the gig, they decided to pull all the retro stuff. So all the retro stuff got marked down, and then they completely removed retro games from GameStop. And it's always been weird to me, because when you look at the companies that they bought up, all of the companies that they bought up sold retro games. People like being able to window shop for retro games and systems. It sort of ties into that nostalgia thing. Now, one thing I do hope GameStop does is educate their employees on retro game trade-ins. If they're going to be selling retro games, obviously you need to be able to tell between a real copy of the game and a counterfeit copy of the game. Now, I don't think anyone's going into a GameStop to pick up Hagani or something like that. Obviously, with your common games, it's not that big of a deal, but with your higher end games, you need to be able to check these games, especially upon trade-in. If someone's bringing in some high dollar amount games and trying to get trade credit for them, you need to realize that there is a chance that these games could be counterfeit, or else they would probably be selling them on eBay or on a Facebook marketplace or at a gaming convention themselves. But honestly, I like this change for GameStop. I think GameStop needs to embrace the gamer side of things. I don't like going into GameStop and seeing clothes and toys and weird little knickknacks. This is room that should be taken up for video games. And then if you have additional room, you can have the toys, you can have the knickknacks and things like that. I hope that this takes off for GameStop, and I would like to see them basically implement one of these retro stores in the highly condensed areas. You go to a GameStop and there's a GameStop down the street, and there's a GameStop down the street, and there's another GameStop down the street. One of these stores should just change into a retro store. So I'm very curious to see what sort of branding they're going to have. Is this going to be a standard GameStop branding, or will this be something new, an offshoot of the GameStop brand? It's definitely something to keep your eye on, though. And finally, what is the worst game on the Nintendo Switch? Anyone? Anyone? No, not Troll and I. Troll and I is pretty bad, don't get me wrong. It's absolutely horrible, but I wouldn't say that's the worst. Vroom in the Night Sky, once again, pretty bad, but once again, I still would not say that is the worst. The worst game to me is WWE 2K18. Holy crap on a stick. How did they release this game? Because it absolutely does not work. If you do anything above a one-on-one match, the game does not work. They tried to do a patch for the game, and it did absolutely nothing. If anything, it made the game run worse. So WWE 2K18 was an abysmal attempt on the Nintendo Switch, one of the sloppiest ports of all time, and arguably the worst game on the Nintendo Switch. Of course, WWE 2K19 completely skipped the Nintendo Switch, and many people felt like that wasn't anything lost, but as a wrestling fan, I want wrestling games on the Switch. I want to see as many wrestling games as possible on the Nintendo Switch, but it looks like there's a chance that WWE 2K 2020 is coming to the Nintendo Switch. A UK retailer by the name of Base.com has put up a listing for a Nintendo Switch version of WWE 2K 2020, and immediately there's red flags popping up here. First and foremost, Blind Squirrel needs to be nowhere near this game. I'm sure the people at Blind Squirrel are fine game makers and fine game developers, but they just absolutely dropped the ball with WWE 2K18 on the Nintendo Switch. They need to be nowhere near this game. It needs to be an in-house production or given to a third-party company that can actually make games for the Nintendo Switch. When you look at games like Doom and Doom Eternal and Wolfenstein and NBA 2K, obviously these bigger end games can run on the Nintendo Switch. You just kind of got to know what you're doing. I would love to see WWE 2K 2020 on the Nintendo Switch, but I feel like it will be another half-assed port if it does come to the system. It's something that I'm going to be keeping my eye on because, like I said, I am a big wrestling fan, but God almighty, just having flashbacks of WWE 2K18 absolutely sends shivers up my spine. It's the worst game ever. I paid like $65 because I got a digital version of the game because I wanted to play the game and review it, and what I got was absolutely terrible. I still have nightmares about this. It keeps me up in the middle of the night. It's like WWE 2K18, WWE 2K18. It's like, get out of my head! Alright, so now you are caught up to speed with all of the latest and greatest video game news and information. The stuff that I found interesting and the stuff I think you guys will find interesting. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think of everything. Have you decided to pick up a TurboGrafx-16 Mini, or do you live in Canada where you have to import it? What do you think about Super Monkey Ball coming back? Are you excited to see this game on the Nintendo Switch, the PS4, and the Xbox One? Or do you think it will not live up to expectations, kind of like the original version of the game did? Are you excited to see what GameStop is doing in the future, or do you think that it is too little too late for the company? And what do you think about WWE 2K20 coming potentially to the Nintendo Switch? Because I don't know about that, man. And as always, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Be sure to check out other videos on the channel. Like I said, we just did a TurboGrafx-16 Mini hype video yesterday. I'm very excited for this system. If I was smart, I would have an Amazon affiliate link so that you guys could order the system and I can make money, but I'm not smart. I'm not smart. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.